Welcome everyone, and today I am joined by two very special guests, Tim and Tanya Bothams. Hi guys.
Hi.
Hi, Sil.
Hi, Sil.
So, yeah, I wanted to ask you guys a little bit today about, I know that you bought the farm that you're living on, right now, and when you bought it, it was definitely not in the shape that it's in now. So do you want to talk a little bit about, what you guys have done to bring back, the wildlife with the plants and the animals, and just tell us a little bit about what you've done since you've been there.
Do you want to go first?
You can.
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I probably think that it's the energy that we be. I think that is one of the greatest things that has contributed to bringing everything back. I think.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where you've got all these predetermined or point of views about how it should look like and what you should do to get it to a certain way. And I found it very difficult to stay away from that dogma and follow the energy. And that's one of the greatest gifts Access has given to me. Like, I was brought up on the farm and I had all these preconceived ways of how you had to do this and had to do that. And for me to follow the energy and ask questions of nature and follow that energy and do that instead of doing the ways I'd been taught for probably 30 years, it wasn't easy. But slowly we realized the more we followed the energy and the more we asked the property questions and did what the property wanted instead of what I thought or what should be and what it should look like, it was amazing what showed up, and just the biodiversity that we got here now, just by letting certain plants and certain weeds go rampant when that was a big no-no. Like, we're known in the district as the lantana farmers. That's a noxious weed. Well, it's depending on your point of view. We don't see it as a noxious weed. We see it as a soil repairer.
Yep.
And a habitat provider for the bees and the birds and the frogs and everything else.
Yeah.
And we had to basically be willing to receive those judgments too and be different. And in an area where we are, where people frown on all that sort of stuff.
That's so cool. I mean, there's two big things there for me. It's one of them is allowing the land to show you what you can create with it to create a greater possibility. And it's anyone can do that, whether they're, at home and they've got a little garden out the back, or just even with their house, allowing that to show them, where things can be and what you can change to change the energy and following the energy with that. That's awesome. And then the other big thing is that point of view thing, and that is massive. If you don't have a point of view about it, it's what can actually be created with it, like the lantana. Yeah. And I think I remember you saying on a call that a while ago that you could pull the lantana out from the roots or something and then plant other tree, or that's something that they do in reforestation, and the soil's improved and it protects the new plants coming through or something. For I don't know if that was you guys, but
yeah. Yes, well, even though like Tim said, it's a noxious weed, I read the CSIRO, whoever they are that have that, they were saying that the lantana makes your soil extremely fertile, so you don't want to have it there because it'll keep spreading. And I was like, don't you want your soil to be extremely fertile? So, I mean, that's, that's their point of view. But yeah, for us, it is. It's so, when you pull out a lantana plant, underneath, it's absolutely so beautiful. The soil is so gorgeous underneath it.
Yeah, it has this magic ability still to take out atmospheric phosphorus out of the air and turn it into a usable nutrient for the soil. And people forget about those sort of things.
Yeah.
There's possibilities there that we can't understand how a plant does it, but it just magically does it. And yeah, it's amazing what it creates.
And so what are some of the things that you've noticed, since you've been doing this, like with the land, what's different? What's different about, your land as opposed to the other farms around you? And it's like, what have you noticed that's changed since you've been doing this stuff?
Well, one thing you notice, Searle, is all the animals tend to come to your farm or come to your backyard. And sometimes that can be an unwanted inclusion, but because if you're trying to grow things, they tend to love to eat them.
Yeah. So they're eating all your veggies and your fruit and everything.
Yeah. But look, we're willing to share.
Yeah. I mean, during the drought, we were pretty much the only one that had grass in our area.
Wow.
And the cat's in the background. And basically the wallabies basically lived on our place, or like this little sort of mob of wallabies lived on our place. And every morning you'd get up and you'd see like there would be like a line. They would be lined up at the water trough. So there'd be like this line of like 5 wallabies waiting. The first one was drinking and the other 4 were waiting. It was really quite cool, actually.
Like waiting for a drink at the bar.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, so it's amazing. It's like sort of when you get the energy right, it's like the place sings. It's just like in your house. Like it's probably a good way for me to describe it. If you've got house plants and you've got a house plant that's not doing so well in a certain spot, and you move it to another spot, and you just know it just totally changes the energy in your house, and it's like that plant just says, "Hey, I'm here," and sings. And it's just like your like your backyard or your garden or your property. Once you get that balance right, everything just works as a cohesive unit, and the place just sings. And that's probably the best way to describe it. Wouldn't you say, Tim?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know usually, like, if we've been away, one of the first things when I come home, the plants are like, feed me, give me some water. And so it's like they definitely have this, like, they're definitely loud. And, it's like, yeah, I really like that, there's this way that we can just be with the plants and the animals that, receiving the communication that they have. And yeah, it's totally different. I don't think you guys realize how different you are.
Sometimes.
Well, I mean, there is probably, we do notice it when we like bring something, like we might like buy an animal, or we buy a plant or something, and it looks pretty shitty, and then it gets to our place, and like within.
But what you should say is we buy the things on the energy of them.
Yeah. And then when it comes to our place, it's like, boom, it just goes like mental, like, and you notice it. It's something that we notice, don't we? Like, it was like, is that the same plant we bought yesterday? So, yeah, it's definitely something, like if you're being that energy, it definitely creates something for everything around you.
Yeah. And so we've got, quite a few people watching and stuff. So, I mean, for all of you guys out there that are listening to this, it's like, what energy can you be to create a greater possibility with the plants and the animals and, your home? It's like wherever you are, because this is something that, you don't have to have a farm to do this. It's like you can have this available wherever you are. So, yeah. Someone's asking, I don't know if you'll know about these plants, because I'd say it might be from America, but someone's asking about devil's fig, tobacco bush, and camphor laurel. No, so I know tobacco bush and camphor laurel are here in Australia, but I haven't heard of devil's fig. Do you guys have any awareness or information on those?
Is that the soda apple? No, I don't know if that's a soda apple.
Well, look, so what you've got to do is you've got to look at that plant and look beyond the plant and see what it's providing. Like with camphor laurel trees, like my father's got a lot of those on his place, and they provide so much habitat for birds. And with tobacco bushes, like you've got to look at what that tobacco bush represents, like what's missing in the soil. And that's why those trees or plants or weeds or whatever you want to call them grow. It's because something's missing in the soil, and that's nature's way of correcting the imbalance. And once you correct that imbalance in the soil, the things like the tobacco bushes, and what was the other one? The devil's
fig.
Devil's fig. It won't grow, and we found that in our place. Like once we correct the imbalances in the soil, those certain weeds that go nuts just won't grow anymore. So it's about following the energy again and say, ask the tobacco plants, what are you trying to tell me? What's missing here? And it could be just habitat, like camphor laurel trees, like down around where you come from. So they grow everywhere down there. But what have you done? Basically, you've taken all away the rainforest. So they're just trying to create habitat to make up the difference for the rainforest not being there.
Yeah.
And I mean, tobacco bushes. Oh, sorry, you go, Sil.
I was just going to say, I've noticed like when you fly, you know, say into like Ballina, which is the local airport, it's like you can tell that, you know, everything's been cleared. And then, you know, I don't think the earth likes to just be bare. It likes to have some coverage. And so it's like you can tell these trees are like, well, you know, we can grow fast and strong and like rapidly. And it's, you know, doing whatever it can to bring some of that back as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And yeah, like the tobacco bushes, we have tobacco bushes here, and we have our horse. Our horses love tobacco bushes. They eat the leaves, they eat the bark. It's obviously something that they need that's there. That's
calcium.
Yeah, that they want. And then we've got these beautiful brown pigeons. They love the tobacco little fruits and stuff, the little tobacco bush fruits. So I mean, it's so nice. Like those brown pigeons are so beautiful.
And the king parrots.
And the king parrots like it. So it's, you know, you got to look at what that's contributing, not what it's actually creating. Like, you know. It
comes back to what we said before, Sil, that point of view.
Yeah.
Like it's just a tree. Like it's just
giving you an awareness. Like it's the earth showing you what it requires. And, you know, you can leave it there, or, you know, there's lots of little things you can do. Like you could probably make a little tea out of them, but I won't go into that. So, but yeah, it's just showing you an awareness. That's what.
Yeah. You know, it makes me wonder as well, like, you know, what might be possible as well with like all, like, I guess nature can be such a teacher for us in like all areas of our life as well. 'Cause it's like, what if we didn't have to, you know, points of view about people or like your business or, you know, all of these sorts of things, you know, like if nature can show you that there's something else available, it's like, how else can you use it in your life every day?
Perfect. Yeah, exactly. That was beautiful.
So Catherine is from Australia. Sorry about that, Catherine. And she was saying that they were farmers up until March this year, so she's very interested. And lots of people are saying thank you very much. And yeah, I don't want to talk too much because I know I love talking to you guys, and it's like I know we could go on forever and ever. But you know, we are also doing a 3-part call, and Tim and Tanya are going to be our first guests. It's called Wild Thing, and the proceeds are going to be going towards Forest for Futures, which is something that we'll pop a link in the comments so you can find out more about it. But guys, can I ask you one thing? Would you guys be willing to take some photos of your farm and share them with us so that we can, I think the people on here would really love to see, like, you know, what's going on your farm. And
I was going to say, well, that's our view, if you can sort of see that. We live on a bit of a hill, so.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
And there's our little cat, so.
Awesome. Is there anything else you want to say, just, you know, before we finish up?
Look, Sil, I think consciousness, it's the only thing that's going to change the planet. People, that's the big thing people have got to get. It's not farming that'll change the planet, it's consciousness. Because I think the more you become conscious, you can't ignore the chatter from the plants and the animals. And you said it before, you come home and the plants are screaming at you, feed me, feed me. And the more conscious you become, the more you can hear those little whispers, and you just can't ignore the planet.
It's very hard to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So consciousness, guys.
That's so cool. I've got, you know, shivers down my spine just talking to you guys about all of this. So I can't wait for our call. And it starts on the 4th, so it's coming up very soon. We'd love to have you guys on. And thank you so much for coming on here today. And look forward to seeing you soon again.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, all.
Thanks
Thanks so
everyone.
much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.